We always wish to bring you the most significant research and news for creating your most beautiful, healthy life. And today, we're going to be talking about the dementia risk factors. And we're going to look at it from what the number one risk factor is for dementia, but we're also going to talk about what you can do to reduce the risk of developing dementia. And so there's been two really good articles on this, some research studies on this, and we're going to be going over those. But we want to remind you that our goal for NutriMost Science is to bring you the most significant research and news. We want to do this on a regular basis to give you more information to empower you, because the more that you know, the more you can make great decisions. And it's about your decision-making process. Remember, the information provided on this program is for educational purposes only. The statements made have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. By providing this information, we are not diagnosing, treating, curing, mitigating, or preventing any type of disease or medical condition. This is not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind. Before beginning any type of natural, integrative, or conventional treatment regimen, it is advisable to seek the advice of a licensed healthcare professional. Okay, so let's just take a look at some of those risks. And as I said, it's all about giving you the tools. And when we take a look at dementia, the rate of incidence has doubled every 5 years after the age of 65 years old. And when you look at something that is that pervasive and how many people have dementia, by the time you're 90 years old, there is a huge number of people that have this. And so in the March 14th, 2018 issue of Neurology, the online issue, which came out on March 14th, the research of 2018, that is, the research study, they studied 191 women. The average age of each of those women was 50 years old at the start of the study, and these women were followed over the course of 44 years. Now, during that 44 years time period, they were tested 6 times during that time period for dementia, and they were tested using their cardiovascular ability. And let's just go to that here. Let's say this is the study you can see. Well, this is a different one. I'll get to this in a little bit. Let me go back and talk about this, the study with the women's reducing the women's risk. And what they did was, so there's 191 women, and what they did was they put them on a bicycle, exercise bike. They measured their cardiovascular ability. They divided into 3 different groups, and if you go in and take a look at, you'll see that it didn't take too much to be in the high fitness group, but there was high fitness, medium fitness, and then there was low fitness. And the low fitness was both people who had a very low cardiovascular ability, but it was also included that people who they actually had to stop the testing because they couldn't complete it. Their cardiovascular ability was so diminished. But the results of the findings were astounding, because when you start to correlate this, that when we take a look at the high fitness group, after the end of this study, there was only 5% of the women in the high fitness group actually developed dementia. There were 25% of the women in the medium fitness group developed dementia, and 32% of the women in the low fitness group developed dementia. And I told you that there was a group, and they include them in the low fitness group, but there was a group of women who were not able to finish the cardiovascular test. So they actually separate that out then, and it turned out that it was 45% of those women who were not able to finish the testing itself, they developed dementia. And what an amazing correlation. The thing about that is, the study authors state that they don't know if it's causal or relational. In other words, by being fit, does that mean that that delays you getting dementia, or people that that their bodies are able to that their brain's working better, their biochemistry is better, that they're going to be more fit. And I would say both ways on that, but the reality of it is you need to balance your body, your biochemistry. And part of that is, it is being able to balance that in a way that allows us to really balance that entire body chemistry, including fitness. In fact, when you take a look, 80% of fitness is nutrition. There's the saying that you can't outrun your fork. But I want to get to this other one here that I had brought up, and that is the contribution of alcohol use disorders to the burden of dementia in France, 2008 through 2013, a nationwide retrospective cohort study. And this was pretty interesting because what they did is they're looking at various factors that can affect dementia. And, we just saw that we know that if you have high fitness, that your risk is greatly reduced. But this study here was published in the Lancet. It was in February 20th, 2018. But it's an observational study of over 1 million people who were diagnosed with dementia. So these are people who actually were diagnosed with dementia. And what the researchers found was that the single most preventable risk factor, especially when they looked at early onset dementia, was heavy long-term alcohol consumption. Now, what they termed heavy long-term consumption was 3 standard drinks per day. So that's, if you're doing that was every day, that was at least 3 drinks, okay? And so here's the thing. That is those people who drank the most had the highest incidence of dementia. And so what we want to do, what this means is realize that there are factors. There's always factors. And this is what NutriMost is all about. There's factors that will increase your risk. There's factors that decrease your risk. And what we want to do, and that's one of the things we put together with our NutriMost intelligence analysis, and you can go to the article, What is NutriMost Intelligence Analysis? Because it's looking at different foods. There's foods that help heal. We talked about a study with, for instance, apples and tomatoes help heal COPD, help heal the lungs. There's foods that help heal. There's foods that make it worse. Okay, and it's understanding that. So understanding that saying fitness is 20% exercise and 80% nutrition, and that truly is a reality that you cannot outrun your fork. So we need to be sure that which foods, which supplements you should be utilizing more frequently. Do some just moderate exercise will get you into what they call the high fitness level. You don't have to be like an Olympic runner, for instance, but you have to do it. You have to do it on a regular basis. And when your body's functioning right, it's easy to keep your biochemistry is right. Your cardiovascular system is functioning better. It's easier to have a high fitness level. Even people who are, you take a look and you see people that are way overweight, and you see that they'll do all the kind of fitness stuff, and it doesn't really affect their weight. There's a reason for that. It's all about your biochemistry. Let's do it in tandem. Let's work with the nutrition. Let's work with the foods, the personalized foods that are going to help that. And that's what this research is about so much. We want to give you all the tools, but we also want you to understand that there's so much behind this, because it's all about balancing your body. And hopefully you'll see that on today's program that you can decrease your risk of dementia. And some of it is really easy. Don't drink too much, and get some exercise every day. And remember, this information provided on this program is for educational purposes. So whatever, but I want you to be empowered to understand what you can do to make a difference in your life. Go through, pay attention, tune into this program, go to NutriMostScience.com on a regular basis, and we'll have this information for you.